Yeah, it's quite a journey.
Okay, we're spending this some time today with my good friend Donna Sparaco. And Donna and I have connected a few years ago. But the reason that I wanted to connect with Donna was because she has that break free and thrive mantra. That is the way she's lived her life. And when I was putting together all of my spotlight interviews, one of the things I had to consider was, do I start with Donna or do I sprinkle with a couple other people and then touch base with Donna? So
Oh,
Donna for me has been that inspirational point in my life, and there was a reason that we definitely connected. So I want to welcome you, Donna Sparaco, to Break Free and Thrive today. And I am so honored that you're joining me on this spotlight today.
thank you, Karen. It is an honor. It's a joy, and I'm grateful for the day that you and I met. And by the way, it was sort of over this type of thing, right? We sort of connected on this whole relationship-based thought process. So it's really interesting that I'm sitting here with you today.
Yes. Well, and one of the things that I really wanted to share with our listeners was the conversation that you and I had about breaking free and thriving. Was we embrace change in our lives. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of women struggle with. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm feeling stuck. There are so many things that are going on, and it's like pushing through all of those filters, the way that we see the world, so that we can see the world more clearly, but we can see it authentically, and we can really let our heart shine, and we can really feel what we're hoping to feel in our lives, rather than masking everything, which a lot of times is what we end up doing because we don't want people to see us in, our real selves. And one of the things I have to say, in the time period that I've known you, your persona has changed just a little bit. I think it's gotten a little bit more bolder. And that's one of the things that I really love about you. I mean, your hair right now has this vibrancy of red in it. And I think the more I see that red, the more I see the true Donna coming out.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting things that you bring up. So you, before the camera started rolling, you asked me a few questions. So I'm going to just address those because I think it's really important for people to see the process. And based on this conversation right this minute, this here and this now, I actually know when I stepped into the freedom part of it. Okay. So vibrant and free. Yeah. So the journey in this particular context, and in context of the book that I wrote about relationships, and this is specifically about dating, it's not personal, was because I was dating, okay? I was dating 15 years ago when I was about 45, 46 years old. I was dating. I was in Manhattan. I was in New York City. I didn't know what the heck I was doing and discovered that nobody else did too. So this inspired the book, okay? It turned out while I was networking, I met my husband. Never considered him to be a suitor because I was networking for business. So that book is now also a love story, Karen. And it really touches my spirit to know that we have a legacy. His kids, his grandkids' kids, his great-great-grandkids' kids are going to know the love story between him and I. But it doesn't start there. It doesn't stop there. We had this amazing journey. And as you had mentioned, Pietro was magical. He was debonair. That's the best word you can come up with, that guy. He was off the boat Italian. He had the accent to go with it. He did the cooking. It was just a wonderful experience to be a partner with him. And we were together for a good 10 years. We were perfectly matched. And then, as you know, a couple of years ago, he departed. And the pivotal moment for me to walk my path was when my mother called me up. My mom called me and she said, honey, your path is going to unfold in front of you. Walk it. I said, I will. I'll do that. Now, in that time, so the first 10, 15 years, what brought me to Arizona, not really that important. You can go anywhere.
Yeah.
But we got hit with 2008. We had to make a move. So change, ironically enough, was my word for last year. But change is pivotal for me. If I'm not changing, for me, it's a healing process. Change is a healing process for me, Karen. Maybe not everybody, but for me. So we came to Arizona for economics. You know, we got a raise just by moving west. Okay, rent in New York was $1,800 a month. My mortgage is less than that now. Rent at that time was even half of that. So we were just looking for ways to not survive, but to thrive, right? Who wants to just survive?
Right.
Oh, so we go through we get to Arizona. I'm figuring it out. I don't know what I want to do. I know I want residual income. I discovered this amazing company called Legal Shield. And that's a very pivotal part of this story because it's not just about the business helping people with this legal access, but it's about how it helped me in my life, right? I mean, we come to Arizona, and how do I know 5, 6, 7 years later my husband's going to pass away? So you brought up the point, Karen. You said to me, what was it like to start over twice? And I went, I started over twice?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
And you're thriving both times. And the beauty of it, a lot of people that face all of those challenges, they get stuck. They go into this huge depression. They kind of put the walls around them and they stay there. And you were someone that the first time it was like, I'm pushing through all of this. I'm making all these changes. And you said it's a healing process for you. But the other thing is, it's like you thrive in that. And when you thrive in that, you see all of the opportunities that a lot of times other people are like, they have blinders on. Oh, I can't do that because it's too difficult.
Right.
You came out of that saying, oh, look at what happened. Oh, look at all these people that I met. Oh, look at how many people are supporting. And that's the part that I talk about when we say break free and thrive. You're breaking free from feeling stuck, and then
Right.
you identify what is your passion, what's your purpose, what's providing joy so that you can thrive.
Right. That's right. And so it's a very good point. It wasn't an option to stay back in New York and be in a situation where we would never get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
When we came out to Arizona for a visit and went, oh, look at the cost of living, and my husband said, oh, look at the weather, you know, we knew. We turned around 3 months. And I've had friends say, I can't believe you did. I could never do what you do. You know, do what you did. Like you jumped in a car, 3 months, lock, stock, and barrel, we were in Arizona. And I'm saying, well, I can't do what you're doing because you keep thinking something's going to change and you keep doing the same thing. And I can't do that. I need to know that there's hope. I desire hope, right? So I come out, figure out Legal Shield. I'm like, I love this. It's amazing. I use it, calling about everything, you know, the occasional traffic ticket. You know, Legal Shield actually gained me. I don't know if you know this, Karen. Legal Shield got me back over $13,000 because the cancer policy that I had with my husband was denied because he chose to go to Mexico for immunotherapy. This is an important message.
I didn't know that.
And when I stopped and thought about it, well, why am I not calling Legal Shield, even though they're pointing at the contract saying, hey, it says right here that he had to be in the United States. I called my lawyer. They wrote a letter, and based on the fact that they felt it was hidden in the contract, yes, it was there. They didn't like where it was. That company paid out. This is stuff that people would never. Can you imagine the power that I felt knowing that I was now being treated fairly?
Oh,
and
through the roof.
Who would have called an attorney to find that out? They're pointing at a contract saying it's written right here. We would have went, oh, well, and we would have thrown the paper and we would have said, oh, my bad luck. So I'm a real advocate, obviously, for Legal Shield, and I help people who are not even my members to use the plan about everything, and you think about something twice. Now we come fast forward, right? My husband's departed. I'm now starting over a second time, your words. It was not an option to live in disparity. It just wasn't an option, Karen. somehow I got it. Somebody said to me, and again, it's one of these things that people say to you. You know, I always tell people, learn to embrace the love of the way that people know how to give it. Don't try to determine how it should be given. People will only love you the way they know how. And somebody said to me at one of my first networking meetings that I went back to, she came up to me and she looked me straight in the face and she said, your only job this year is to feel better.
That's an awesome.
Duly noted, okay? Because as you can imagine, I was feeling pretty low, pretty crushed. And that in combination with my mom made me realize that I am going to pivot every step of the way. Out of this mindset grew my Facebook Live, which is now going to YouTube, Daily Dose-A-Donna. Why is it Daily Dose-A-Donna? Well, Daily Dose of Donna was taken, and my husband was Italian, so everything ended like a this. So I thought that made sense, right? So I just did it. This brand was an organic process.
Sure.
People had been following me on it when Peter got sick, when we went to Mexico. They were following Hope, Karen. They weren't following me.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, my husband got to depart with love in his heart and basically witnessing his own eulogy. Who can ask for more than that? People loved on him from all over the world. Facebook, videos. I got to spend his 70th birthday with him in Mexico. But it gets better. Again, pivot so that I am setting my dial to joy. I am being deliberate about looking for what feels better. And I go to get my hair done 3 weeks or so after he's departed. My brother, God bless him and his wife, I swear, they took me around. They just made sure I kept my schedule. I was just being, lifted up and carried, really. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting in the salon, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I hate what I'm seeing. Karen, I was so changed on the inside, and I didn't look it. So I was sickeningly different on the inside, and outwardly I looked the same. This was not congruent. And I said to the lady, I need red in my hair. And she says, oh, we don't have time. If you do not, I'm from New York, right, Karen? If you do not put red in my hair, I will go home and do it myself. Mm-hmm. This was an organic process once again. It became my logo. It's my brand. I am brand recognizable. I go to New Jersey. People stop me. I'm eating lunch at a restaurant. People stop me. They say, I think I'm watching your videos. I love your message. I'm getting messages from 18-year-old boys, from 80-year-old women. I'm getting messages from married people, gay people, single people. I'm getting messages from people that they're inspired. Well, why are they inspired, Karen? I talk about relationships. I talk about setting your doctor. I break it down. I take a little message. I break it down for people to hold on to it. I'm just holding the space for them to discover that I just want to inspire them to reach higher, to set their dial to joy, not stumble on it, right. Not go, well, you'll find it once again. No.
But I think one of the other things that you offer is you actually are so vulnerable on those videos, and you're saying, what's going on today? Today wasn't a good day for me. Today was an awesome day for me. Today was, well, I kind of needed something to pick me up. And all of a sudden, I don't know where you pull it from. It's either, pull it from your heart, or you pull it from, those red strands, or you pull it wherever it comes from, it surfaces. And that's the answer that people are looking for, because we all know everybody has those days where we're just not feeling what we want to. Yeah. Everyone's having those days where, you're in the rafters and you're feeling awesome, but to be able to follow someone and know that they've got a solution for you, because they're sharing how they feel so openly, but right. They're also sharing how they overcome. If there is a challenge, this is what they do. And right. You can't be in those rafters. You can't be on the ceiling all the time. Right. When you are enjoying being, at the top of the mountain, you know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of my biggest, I'm adamant about it actually, to acknowledge people. First of all, they have to know what they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't really understand a lot, but they've got to be tuned in. Okay. And Daily Dose-A-Donna, which is going on over 2 years now, people tune in because I'm not scripting it, because I pick a topic, I hit play, I go, record, I go, because I'm willing to cry on camera, because I'm willing to have a tantrum on camera, and because I'm giving them a solution. Because at the end of the day, even if I'm not feeling well, I still have the opportunity to be happy. This is where people get confused. They think if you don't feel good or you're unhappy about something going on in your life that you can't be happy. It's like all or nothing. No. So I wish I had my bookmark with me, but setting your dial to joy is about deliberately setting it. You may not be able to get from disparity to joy, but there's steps you can get to get there. You'll slide back a little bit. If you embrace where you're at, and you know this, if you embrace it and you own it, then you have the option to let it go. But if you deny it and sweep it under the rug, you will never have the option to let it go. And so you and I both know the value of connecting with the people who can assist you to move forward, people such as yourself, people in different mediums, different modalities, different medical things, different holistic things that will get you to move forward. I've done it all. I love it. It assists me to move forward so I can get myself out of my own way. What's the point? If I stay in my own way, then I'm not wanting change. And if I don't want change, then why are we even talking, right? So change is to make it better, more, better, different. Now, I just want to go ahead. You're going to say something.
I was just going to say, and I remember being at your house one time and the fire was going. We were sitting outside. We were enjoying a glass of wine. And you said, okay, now it's, Daily Dose-A-Donna time. And I was like, what? I'm not ready to talk. And you said, you don't have to. I know what I'm going to talk about. And I just freaked out because I was like, I'm not that spontaneous. But when I saw how spontaneous you were, it was like so joyful. It really lifted my spirit because that's what you do. And yes, it's a matter of being spontaneous, but it's also knowing that spontaneity is what pushes you through to get to do the things that you enjoy doing so much. And when you feel the challenge, it's like, okay, we just got to do it. And it's almost like no nonsense, but you know that there's purpose.
Right.
And as a result of that purpose, you're tapping into the joy, the hope, and the love.
Yes, and thank you. I am touching lives. It fulfills me. I'm sort of like the Pied Piper. I feed off people's energy. When I get the messages from people, it just fulfills me. I had a woman who came to me for Legal Shield. She was a referral from somebody, and she said to me, Donna, Legal Shield brought us together, but I see now that it was because I needed to see your Daily Dose-A-Donna. She said, I wasn't always as sick. I wasn't always like this. I don't have to be this person I am today. I can get back to feeling good, even in my soul. And I said, yes, you can. And that's my message. And it's very rewarding. And of course, I'm building on this, and I am a celebrity sort of, Karen. I mean, like, people recognize me. It's a little bit like, woo, but I embrace it. I don't rehearse it. I move forward with it. And what's come from this, now I am going to say something I don't know that I've said in public yet, but so the book that you have in your possession there about dating, it's not personal. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of feedback from every walk of life. And I've had life coaches actually tell me that it's the guide, because I'm saying to people, work on yourself. Right. Don't go out and look for somebody to fix you. That doesn't exist. Right. In fact, it gets worse, right, if we do that. But if you work on yourself and you raise your awareness, your conscious, your desire for more, better, different, then you'll attract more, better, different, right? So that's sort of that concept. Mm-hmm. And I woke up, and again, I don't know if I told you, Karen, so a lot of firsts coming out here. I woke up probably 8 months ago with the very clear awareness that my next book will be about grieving and sex, intimacy and grieving. It will be titled Mourning Sex, Mourning. And it's very, very important because I see how many people who have lost a loved one get stuck. Yeah. And I can break it down for them the way I break down Daily Dose, for them to understand how to move forward. And it doesn't mean that they need to find somebody. I mean, I went out dating for a year, very clearly told people I am not looking for a committed relationship. We're at a time where, and people don't talk about this, Karen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think one of the other things I wanted to tap into was after Pietro had passed, and you were saying, I got to get started with Daily Dose again. I was like, are you ready? And you're like, yes, I have to move forward. And I remember watching those daily doses, and they broke my heart because they were so painful.
Yeah.
And it was one day at a time. You were just pushing through and pushing through. And some of those were, placards that you would say, I'm feeling the pain today. And it was just a matter of, those daily doses were little snippets of a time that was very challenging for you. But it also, I could see the momentum that you were building as a result of going through that.
I grab a tissue because when I go back there sometimes,
Oh.
Yeah, it's really, it's been an honor to be sort of a spokesperson for this journey, because
you've lifted so many. You've lifted them, but also I think that's also because people have been there to support you. And I think that's what a lot of this journey is about. Everyone's journey is about. It's the relationship that you have within. And when you are able to support others, others are there to support you when you need to break free of wherever you are so that you can get back on to the life that provides purpose and joy to you. And that's where you thrive.
That's where I thrive. Yeah. It's really interesting because now I am in a serious relationship with somebody I'm absolutely head over heels in love with. And it's important to me. Obviously, I honor my husband. We were in love. Mm-hmm. And I go back to what somebody said to me one time, isn't it a shame he's not here to see this? And I said, no, it's because he went on his journey that I'm here. It's because it's not in spite of. It's this blossoming message. So obviously I don't ever, and I'm talking to people who've lost a spouse or significant other now, because sometimes we feel guilt. Now, I never felt guilt, but that's just another thing for me. But I did feel something, and I had a hard time trying to identify it, maybe even disloyalty, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what I'll be writing about in Mourning Sex. I want my husband's kids and their kids and the kids that come after them to know that I adored my husband, but my heart is open for love, and because I'm in love with somebody else doesn't negate what I had with him. And I think that's a really important message. People don't know how to navigate that. It's murky. It's murky. How do you explain it? I don't even have kids, Karen, and I was found myself tripping over my words talking to my husband's son. So I almost felt like I needed permission. It's a strange little dynamics, but this is real stuff. You see, this is the stuff we talk about that nobody talks about.
No one wants to talk about this.
No.
Because it's very painful, and it's infringing on the intimacy the intimate relationship that you had with your husband. But at the same time, because he's no longer here, it's a matter of you're still continuing that. And it is an intimate relationship that you have with his children.
Right.
Children. Because there was such a close tie. And from the standpoint, because you've had that, and it was a difficult conversation to have with Pietro's son. And I would definitely say that would probably be not a conversation I'd be looking forward to having. But from the standpoint, you were courageous, but you were also very loving, because they knew how you felt about him.
Right.
And they knew that, you're still a young woman, and you still have, goals that you want, and you still want to have love in your life, but you're able to move forward in your life knowing that their father had a very special place for you, that was your husband, but also there's so much more that you have to give. Right.
Because of it. It's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So when I first said, before I even came up with the words of setting my dial to joy, because again, that was an evolution that sort of evolved into it. I do remember going, wow, so many gifts that came out of him departing. So many gifts. Like what? Okay, well, I'm no longer Dad's wife. I'm no longer No-No's wife. I'm now Donna, and I'm my own person. So where what used to put me in the background, and I used to be happily there, it was fine. I respected, he had the kids, I didn't. And all of a sudden, here I am, and they're looking at me like, oh, good, good. Donna's still around. Donna's still around. Well, yeah, I mean, his grandkids in Arizona would only know who their grandfather is now through me, right? I mean, I'm a connection.
Right.
I was like, wow. Like, these are things I never saw coming, the gift of having this role,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
having children.
And having children. Now they're older. Obviously, they don't call me mom. And that's wonderful. But we have a loving family relationship. I can say we're gonna, my boyfriend now and I are gonna go there on Christmas Eve. We're gonna spend time with them. We're part of their life. They're part of my life. And anyway, these little gifts, if you look for them, and I always tell people, look for your loved one where they are and not where they're not.
Right. Because the more you look for them, the more they multiply.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something.
It is, really. So as a result of writing this book, which I have to say is awesome, and it's kind of like a Cinderella story, it really is.
Yeah, I guess.
I've had the conversation when I was writing my book, and you were just saying, well, these are the things that you need to be aware of. And now the fact that you're ready to write another book, which actually is I want to say it's a continuation of your journey and how you've kind of mastered the magic that you've had in your life.
Yeah. Right. I mean, right. I take my own advice on my dating advice in my book. I'm like, I did it twice. What were the chances? I mean, it's not easy. But there's very clear, there's a clear methodology for dating, and it's not that difficult. But we let our emotions get in the way, and we get sidetracked, and we think we can get somebody to want what we want when that's not what they want at all. So it's just a matter of figuring out if you're on the same page early enough to be and have the courage to go, I'm sorry, I really like you, you're a great person, but we're not on the same page. Which is most of my conversations when I was dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I think you're really great, but we're not on the same page.
Well, and I think that's one of the things to be learned from your journey. You really have to be in touch with your own feelings and not be influenced by, this isn't really working for me and I don't really want to be alone, but I'm going to be with this other person that maybe isn't the right person for me, but because I don't want to be alone, you kind of tolerate that.
Yeah.
Your message is focus on who's the most important person in your life. And
right.
That's you. And
yes.
You are in touch with your feelings and
yes.
what's important to you. All of those things that are important to you are just magnetically attracted to you as a result of living your authentic self.
Yes. Very important. I'm very deliberate about who gets to play in my sandbox with me. I stay on track. I made my people came into my world when make them understand where I'm at, what I'm doing, what my next book is going to be about. Because again, are we on the same page? And the sooner you find that out, Karen, the less pain there is down the road. There's no changing. I'm not here to try to fix you. I'm not here to try to get you to believe in what I'm doing. I'm just either you accept it or you don't, and vice versa. And life is wonderful.
Well, and I think that's one of the things. A lot of people will, and when I say change, embrace change, it's really at your level. And what are you willing to tolerate? What are you willing to accept? And you are exactly the same way. It's like for you, change is healing because it's your evolution process. It's your growth coming from one place to another. And you're Donna is constantly evolving.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself, Karen.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of it because number one, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what works for you, and you stay in touch with who you are so that continually
Yeah.
attracts the type of people in your world that really are where you thrive.
Right. Yeah. And so all this being said, ultimately, the ultimate goal, and again, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but the ultimate goal is to stand on stage and tell my story in front of 20,000 people. I mean, there's a story here. It needs to be shared, and I'm the girl to do it.
And I'm glad to hear you do it.
And does it require courage? Yes, it requires courage. But who cares? If not now, when?
Right.
You know?
Well, but I think for you, it's like, you're just taking baby steps, baby steps. Well, now the steps are getting bigger, and now you're willing to do more. And that's really what, what your audience is listening for, in your daily messages. So if people want to listen to Daily Dose, where do they find you?
So right now it's on, I do a Facebook Live pretty much Monday through Friday. They can, and if anybody wants to become my friend on Facebook, I just suggest that they maybe inbox me to let them know where they heard from me from. I do have a Daily Dose-A-Donna business page, and I am in the process of uploading all my videos to YouTube so that people can search for. So I'm a public, if they search for me, Donna Sparaco, they're going to come on Amazon or even on the internet, they're going to see my profile. They're going to find me on Instagram, and of course, donnasparaco.com is my website, and people can learn about Legal Shield there. They can get my book from that point. So, Donna Sparaco.
Yeah, we're going to be putting those links below the spot so that people can connect with you. And I'm also going to be putting the contacts for your Facebook page, Daily Dose. But I really wanted to hear from you. How do people get in touch with you? Because once they do, they'll be connected, but also you kind of put your arms around them and say, I'm here to support you wherever you are.
Right, that's right. And by the way, congratulations to you, Karen. I remember when we met, you were just beginning this journey of yours, and you came from HR background. So you talk about courage to make a switch and reach for your passion self. How cool is that?
Yeah, well, we're both very determined women.
Yes. I'll see you on stage, woman.
I'll see you, and we may be on the same stage.
Right. That's great. Thanks so much for reaching out, Karen. I miss you. Come visit me when you come to Arizona.
Okay, and thank you so much, Donna, for joining us on Break Free and Thrive, because you've led the way to show us how to do the break free so that you can thrive in what's important to you and what connects with your heart. Thank you.